Know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. This was said by the master teacher, Jesus himself. Know the truth. The underlying word here is know. Now the scriptures also go ahead, and I think in the book of Proverbs, where we are told that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Now we live in a world where knowledge is abundant. Traditionally, knowledge is expensive. If you are born in a poor family, chances of you ever making it in life were that much, very, very slim. But in this age of technology, knowledge has been democratized. We have so much access to knowledge. Now, knowledge is no longer the key differentiator in success. So when we look at this word, I want us to break this word into 4 parts, because by understanding knowledge, it makes it much easier for us to know what kind of knowledge do we need if we need to succeed. Now, this word here, we have 4 words. We have know, we have now, we have age, and we have age. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. 4 words in one. Now, let's start with know. Majority of us are under the illusion that we know. When somebody says that, I know someone. Now remember, Jesus says here that knowing the truth shall set you free. And I like to say it in a different way, where I say, knowing the truth, it will piss you off first before it sets you free. How many people, you might think you know what this is. If I ask majority of people, they raise their hand and they tell me that's a marker pen, which is 100% right. But my next question here is, if you had to take a number between 1 is the lowest and 10 is the highest, majority of people I talk to tell me that their knowledge of this pen is 8. Now I'll go ahead and ask you now, do you know how this pen works? This pen, for it to write here, it means it has to be wet. But the minute I finish stroking, it has to dry. Inside here, what is the mechanism that mixes the paint or the liquid part into the flesh part, the cloth part of it? So how come it stays in here? It stays wet, while it comes out here, it becomes dry. Or even to ask yourself, how does it know how to get the right concentration so that we can get the color blue as we have on the board? When we start asking these questions, automatically you realize your 8 drops straight to a 2, because you realize that you don't really know. So the first prerequisite for knowledge is know. How well do you know what you know? Because most of us think we know. If you know something, it's a very big difference from knowing something. That's why you say in Christianity or in most religions, they'll always focus on you believing rather than knowing. Because if you had to ask a lot of religious people, if they know they'll go to heaven, majority of them, they'll never raise their hand. But if you ask them if they believe they'll go to heaven, most of them will. Because most of us like to live in uncertainty. We don't really understand that. So the word know here becomes the key thing. The second thing here is, it's now. What you know is going to be tested by the way you live your life now. Because if I know this is a pen, as much as it's a pen, Jesus clearly says that a fruit is defined by a tree is defined by the fruit that it bears. So you can't say you're an apple tree. The only difference between an apple tree and an orange tree or mango tree is not the tree, it's the fruits that it bears. So this, for it to be a pen, it has to prove it to me by me using it to write. If it doesn't write, then it looks like a pen. When the shape of it looks like a pen. But when it comes to writing, it's not writing. A pen is supposed to write. So if you're knowledgeable, if you have knowledge, and knowledge is purely an accumulative effect. Knowledge is a pastor for your experience. Knowledge is what you've acquired over time. When a mother says, I know my child, because the mother has seen the child from an infant to whatever age that child is. You will always hear a mother say, no, I know my child didn't do it. Or I know my child did it. The people outside don't really understand what that means. But when we go to now, if what you know does not change, if you cannot apply it in your present state, your present moment, your present world, if it has no effect on how you live your life now, then is that knowledge? Then it becomes questionable. Number 3 here is age. The knowledge you know in the present life must give you an age in life. Because the difference between the rich and the poor is a knowledge factor. It's not an effort factor. They all put in effort in a specific way. But it's the knowledge that they have. And that knowledge becomes the age that makes the difference between being thin and being fat, being healthy and being unhealthy, being sick and being well. All those things gives you an age. The richest people that you see have an age because they have better information on whatever is coming into the market in terms of investing. They have insider knowledge on which company is going to go public. They have insider knowledge on which country politically is going to go under, and it becomes easier for them to buy the treasury bonds. All those things is age. And the minute you have that, it brings us now to the age. It puts age as being at the end of a cutting edge. Age simply means that if this is a cliff, you're standing right here. Now, standing right here means 2 things. Either you're going to drop and die, or you're going to drop and fly. And the difference between you dropping from here and dying and flying is especially knowledge. Now, if you bring it together as knowledge, this becomes a very powerful word. Now, there are 3 kinds of knowledge that we need if our lives is going to change. Number 1 here is what we call revelational knowledge. This is divine knowledge. This is vision. This is how attuned you are inside yourself. This is how close you are. This is the relationship you have with your maker. This is the oneness you have with the big oneness around us. So when it comes to this, most of us, we can see. A vision is the ability that God has given you to be able to see the future in technicolor while you're still stuck in your misery. It is the end, starting from the end and coming back to the starting block and then walking forward. Having the ability to see things. And most of the things that you see, unfortunately, because it is your vision, a lot of people, the environment around you will be against it. If you share your dreams too soon, like Joseph, you exactly know what happens. Your brothers, even your own parents, are going to either dump you in a pit or they will sell you into slavery. So revelational knowledge, it's very important. It's intuitive. Nobody's ever done it. You've never seen it before, but deep inside you feel it. And you've heard, all of us have heard, we all have 4 of this a year, where all of a sudden you have that feeling that I can do this, that if I do this and I do this, and you'll always get this in specific places when you're showering, you're walking the dogs in the park, you're training, you're preparing food in the kitchen, when you're dancing. This is when your mind is very relaxed. You're so relaxed where all of a sudden your senses are cut off and you're very much in tune with your divinity, your spirituality. You're able to see this. Then the second kind of knowledge we have here is theoretical knowledge. Theoretical knowledge. Now, this is very practical knowledge. This is, you've seen it around you. There are people around you that have done it. We can get this from books. We can read about it. We can listen to podcasts. There's always somebody that has done whatever it is. Nothing in this world is new. There is nothing new in the world that we live in. Everything that we're doing, somebody's thought about it, and you're just coming in with a different twist to something that was there before. So most inventors that you know in life, most of them are thieves. They take whatever is there and they just make it better. So theoretical knowledge is very important. And then the biggest differentiator here is experiential. Experiential knowledge. This is personal. This is what you've gone through. You can always borrow somebody else's knowledge, but you can't borrow somebody else's experience. And the biggest problem with most of us, we try to avoid this. Because we have access to so much of this, we've become consumers rather than producers. We consume so much knowledge. The input is too much, but the output is less. Because what we're lacking here, we're not taking action. So this is purely where dreams or goals meet action, and that bring it into manifestation. And most of us will always struggle when it comes to this, because this, you can't, it's like, think of yourself as having a beautiful car. You go into the parking lot downstairs, you open the car, you turn the ignition, the car, you kick the engine on, the car is idling, but you haven't moved the gear. Without moving the gear, that car won't move. So people, you think that because the car is on, you're busy, but you're not being productive. And that's what most of us do here. So when it comes to knowledge, we have to use the 80-20 principle. You always consistently have to keep on bringing in 20% new knowledge, and 80% you have to keep on going out, and you have to constantly keep on working on it, because experientially, that's how you learn. Experience is not something you can borrow. Experience is not something you can inherit. Experience is not something that you can buy. Experience is something that you have to pay with blood, sweat, and tears. If you're afraid of trying, there's a big chance that you will have such a big ideas in your life, in your head. You will have very big ideas in your head, but you will live a very small practical life because you never take step. Let me know which of this makes sense. Which of this are you struggling with? Which of this knowledge do you don't have, and where do you need to invest most of your time? Take care, God bless, and see you soon.